From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we go over that $3.5 trillion recon that passed that'll pay viewers on average $15,000 from three clusters of checks passed. Cluster number one, hazard pay, and then the add-on being proposed of $25,000. Cluster number two, pass, like home repairs. And then the second cluster being proposed to be added in there, $250 billion for my seniors. Cluster number three, pass, money for seniors. And then another cluster being proposed, MSCs. We go into a big morning's recording with incredible great news about a lot of elements. First off, of course, the excitement as a possible deal with Joe Manchin. That deal is the first of several passable deals. In this recording, you're going to see now two other backup plans being proposed today on Mornings LA. They're brand new today. Backup plans for clean energy and carbon taxes to get the recon done. It's all breaking news, and it's all on Mornings LA. They're back. Congress is back for 3 weeks, and it starts today. I'll go over the latest details of what Congress has to get done. Student loan debt forgiveness. More debt has been forgiven, and it could be you, and more debt could be forgiven this week. COLA raises, you getting one raise, but that's not the only raise. You're going to get 3 more raises on top of that. We got a big show, and the excitement's starting. We'll be cutting over the third stimulus. As one viewer got $36,000 last week, today is your week as well to get big sums of money. We got fourth stimulus, we got Congress back in session, we got the toast is toasting, we got the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. It's a big Mornings LA broadcast with a lot of breaking news, starting right now. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It has just been peculiar weather here, as you can say, in Los Angeles. It was raining a few minutes ago, so you're going to see some darkness on set. The sun is starting to come out just in the last few minutes. You're going to see some of the afternoon shows later today are relatively dark because of that darkness. But we have some brightness with us with a $3.5 trillion recon pass that'll pay you upwards of $15,000, plus an add-on being proposed of $25,000. The other add-on being proposed of $250 billion for my seniors and those MSCs as well. There's 3 clusters of checks that are in this past recon. 1, hazard pay, 2, home repairs, and 3, seniors money. I'm going to go over all that incredible details in this recording. Then we're going to turn it to the big surprise that no one saw coming, as not one, but several possible deals erupting with Joe Manchin. We're going to go over the first deal, which you heard on Saturday on this channel. Breaking news this morning of 2 more backup plans with Joe Manchin regarding clean energy and carbon tax. Then guess what? They're back. The Senate and House members are back in session. The student loan debts have been forgiven. More debts could be forgiven this week. And then we're going to go over COLA and those 2 other raises you're going to get on top of that. We got a big show. We're just getting started because the toast is toasting and the butter is buttering. And I'm excited you're here because this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America with a lot of major news today. Congress is back in town starting today for 3 weeks, and boy, do we got a lot in this video. We'll be going over third stimulus, and in the final minutes of this video, I have my commentary about the recon as well. Brand new commentary, you haven't heard it before. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Say to the very end, we got a lot in today's show, all breaking news. Consider becoming a member and like this video. Let's go right to this incredible $3.5 trillion recon. It passed several weeks ago. 3 clusters of checks. Those 3 clusters of checks pay you on upwards of about $15,000 as a viewer's channel. The recon is for single individuals, married couples, seniors, young children. Everyone, red states, blue states, all for you. We're going to go over each of these clusters of checks and the 3 add-ons that are proposed to go on top of that. And it all starts right now. Yes, it's about $15,000 that you're going to get from these recons, from those three clusters. And we're going to go over the first cluster right now. Hazard pay, they got hazard pay in there. This is huge. This is hazard pay plus the earned plus $4,000 of elder care. Let's go over all the details. First, they got hazard pay in there, but I brought in the eligibility of the earned income tax credit and increased the amount of money. Then they got elder care in there, $4,000 a year. $4,000 a year for young children's care as well. They got money in there for college students, grants to them to the university, and the Pell's grant made tax-free, and they got free home repairs. Wow. Free home repairs if you live in a low-income community. This is in the first cluster of the three clusters. They got $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks in there as well. The CTC, the child tax credit, brought in the eligibility, increasing the amount of money up to $300 a month, every year to 18 years. If that family is low income, that is $51,000 per child. They got money in there for bikes, cars, and trucks, all electric, all U.S. auto manufactured. Up to 15% of the purchase price of a new electric bike, $7,500 for a new electric car, a little bit more if it's a business car or if it's a business truck. Wow. That is the first of three clusters of checks passed in this $3.5 trillion recon in the House subcommittee that'll pay you on average about $15,000. But now let's go to the first proposed add-on on top of that, and boy, it's delicious. $25,000 of hard, cold cash. From who? The illustrious legislator, Representative Maxine Waters, here from Los Angeles. She's proposed $25,000 that will go directly to you for the purchase price of a new first home. Wow. First-time home buyers will get $25,000 for a new home. How they likely do this? Likely to give you the money or the seller the money during the escrow before you close. Really incredible. And that is the first of several add-ons. Let's go to the second cluster of checks, and here we go. Home repairs and paid leave. Now, it's important to remember that this recon is for life in general. It has nothing to do with COVID. So these are not COVID checks. This is just life in general. So they got paid family leave and paid medical leave in here. Wow. What is this? Paid family leave, medical leave. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year, split in half. $35,000 a year, $800 a week, split in half. $15,000 annual salary, $400 a week. Family leave, you have to stay home because your wife is pregnant. Medical leave, you have to stay home because your son broke his leg. They got child care programs checks, household tax credit checks, checks for seniors like dental, more about that in the third cluster. Pre-kindergarten, totally free. Community college, totally free. And then they got checks in this second cluster for weatherizing your home. Wow. All homes, not even just low income, all homes, weatherizing your home checks. Definitely need to weatherize your home, especially if the moderate Democrats are on the roof. As I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House, and wherever possible, keep them out of the Senate. There you go. That is the second cluster of three clusters of checks passed in that House subcommittee that's valued about $15,000 for you. Let's go to the second add-on. And the second add-on comes from the illustrious senator from Pennsylvania, Bob Casey. The 61-year-old Democrat has proposed $250 billion to be given to you, my seniors and my people on SSDI. How much does it work? How does it work? It's for elder care type programs like home health care. Bob Casey sees a big problem. A lot of people need home health care, can't afford it, and so they have the son or daughter stay home from work, not make a living to care for the parent that is elderly or on disability. So Bob Casey is going to give big money to the state so that they can give you home health care totally free, disability and seniors. So now your son and daughter can go into the workforce if they want, make a living, and reduce labor shortage in America. Wow, great idea, Bob. So that is the second add-on. Let's go to the third cluster of checks, and that has a big exclusive as well from Senator Bob Casey, and that is seniors and free internet. Let's go to the third cluster of checks. Here we go. And listen for two key words in this third cluster. They are clean energy. They're coming up later in this video. Free school meals for all checks, checks for cheaper prescription medication, checks for free for farmers, checks for free internet, checks for clean energy, checks for workers, independent contractors, checks for seniors, dental, vision, hearing, and lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. So there comes a big world exclusive. People close to Bob Casey's office tell viewers of this, tell me on this channel, that Bob Casey in this third cluster is looking to reduce the Medicare eligibility age from 65 to 60. Wow, that's incredible. This third cluster of checks has checks in there like free internet. How this work? You're just going to get free internet from your local city and county. They're going to launch their own internet company, be totally free. What's the username? Username is Scarf101. Password is Javita Light. There we go. Now let's turn to the third add-on that you all know that about what it is, but we got three big details about that on Mornings LA starting right now, and that big third add-on, of course, is MSC, monthly stimulus, IRS stimulus checks. Three big breaking details about that today. Number one, clean energy. Remember that word, those two words I said in the third cluster? You're going to see in a second, I'm going to go over the deal making with Joe Manchin. But one of the checks in the clean energy, Joe Manchin says remove. And so they reportedly have removed it. This is great news for you and MSC. Why? Because it now frees up hundreds of billions of dollars potentially for you. Instead of clean energy, purple power energy. I love it. It's sort of like what we talked about several weeks ago. Remember when the parliamentarian ruled that a provision for checks for judiciary cannot be in there? That money was reallocated back to you. So this is big. Second, we have Chuck Schumer, and Chuck Schumer's office saying going into last weekend, going into the weekend before that, and the weekend before that said he's going to put in there monthly IRS stimulus checks. He said the same thing as well to Debbie Applegate 2 weeks ago. This is big. Why? Because Chuck Schumer is the guy that gets it done. We have three different places in which they could put a monthly stimulus check in there, and it is two on the House and one on the Senate. First on the House, we have a House subcommittee that currently has a $3.5 trillion recon. It's not a bill. It's just a package, and they can add it in there before it becomes a bill. That's Sheila Jackson, the number 2 in the Progressive Caucus. Then, when we see the House bill, maybe they don't put it in there. They can still add it before they call a vote on the House side. Great news there. But the big one is the 2-day event on the Senate, led by Chuck Schumer, called the Votorama. I know, it just sounds like a bad 1970s disco ball with lobsters and Mitch and bell-bottom jeans. It just doesn't sound good. But it's wonderful. It's deliciousness. It's the Votorama. That's actually what it's called. The final 2 days of this entire process in which senators introduce changes to whatever the House bill didn't have in there or did have in there. Who's in charge of the Votorama? Chuck Schumer. Who determines when things are called for a vote to make changes to the House bill during the Votorama? Chuck Schumer. Who calls the amendments for a vote? Chuck Schumer. Who determines what is added? Chuck Schumer. Who wants to put a monthly stimulus check provision in there? Chuck Schumer's office. And who determines the wardrobe for the Votorama? Mitch McConnell. He determines if your bell bottoms are wide enough and if your tie-dye shirt is psychedelic enough, just so long as he's not in charge of the lobster was good. That is the Votorama. And there you go. Wow. Now we got third big update about that MSC, and you may have seen it. It's the incredible comment that came in from the chief of staff, which is the number one person in the number one senator's office for your recon, and this message is incredible. The message is to you, and the message is to me. Let's read along. They now have in total, between congressional senatorial offices, received more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures on the American petition. Everyone is amazed by the outpouring of touching stories. Now they have more of what is called a better understanding of how the Americans are trying to make it through the pandemic because of LATE. The heartbreaking stories from LA viewers. They have heartbreaking stories from the LA viewers, and they have a voice of the people in LA across the nation who has become too loud for him to be ignored. Wow, thank you so much. And that is not it. The final sentence is the most important one. It's a message to me and it's a message to you. The final message in this sentence from the Chief of Staff says, please, LA, continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy as the professional voice of the people you, LA, have become. Keep pushing until it becomes law. There you go. So we got to push until it becomes law. In the second half of this video, we got a lot coming up. Congress is back for 3 weeks, coming back in session starting today. I have the latest details. Not one, not two, but now 3 backup plans for Joe Manchin. Totally brand new on Mornings LA. You saw the first backup plan yesterday. 2 new backup plans revealed today. I'll go over the latest details. More benefits? Yes. Your benefits will step up upwards of 3 times the next 12 months. I'll explain what's happening. This is FIS stimulus and the big COLA raise. Then student loan debt. More debt is being forgiven. And then we go to third stimulus, more money, as one viewer got $36,000 last week. It's a new week, and it's a week for you to get that money as well. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as a big Mornings LALATE show continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on a big afternoons LA with a lot of details coming on up. As guess what? A possible deal is in the works with Joe Manchin. I have the latest details that unfolded on Friday. But breaking news today on Mornings LALATE as 2 new backup plans, clean energy and carbon tax, now being pursued, and these are deliciousness. All the latest details as Congress is back starting today for 3 weeks. The latest and greatest coming up in the second half of this video. Then student loan debt, more debt being forgiven, and could more debt be forgiven this week? I have the latest. Then also COLA going up, but you're going to get 2 other raises right after that. Boy, we're just getting started. Then we'll be turning to third stimulus, as one viewer got $36,000 last weekend, and you can get this week money this week as well. We've had viewers starting weeks at 0 and ending at weeks with $40,000. It's your big week, so get that pen paper ready. It's coming up as well. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is Mornings Crypto. Crypto seeing Bitcoin to 61,000, highest level in history. I have the details why it's happening. Then I'm back with you at 11 a.m. with Noontime LALATE live on air. We got shows at 1, 3, and 5 o'clock, brand new, and I'm real excited for you because shows from 6 o'clock to 3 a.m. the next day, all about forced stimulus. A show every hour on the hour, all throughout the day. And with that, let's go to the big surprise that no one saw coming from the President of the United States. The President of the United States doing something incredible. And what did he do? He forgave more student loan debt. Those details are fascinating across the board. The student loan debt announced by the President several weeks ago started with student loan debt forgiven for individuals who are disabled. Now, the president announcing more student loan debt forgiven on top of that. What has he done in the last few days? First, he forgave student loan debts of individuals who went to work in the public sector for 10 years. Wow, this is huge. And he forgave student loan debts for people who went to work in the nonprofit sector for 10 years. Oh my goodness. How does this work? If you became a sanitation driver, if you went for work for the Department of Public Transportation, or you work for the county or the state or the federal government, your debts are now forgiven. I had one incredible viewer in Morning's Countdown find out the details live on air. In the live chat, I was there and the viewer said, but LALATE, after graduation, for the last 20 years, I had been a worker at the federal prisons. Do you mean my federal debts are forgiven? Yes, sir, I said to him. All your debts are forgiven. The viewer found this out while watching this channel. Had never even heard of it. What a wonderful, inspiring story. Now, let's turn to the big surprise that no one saw coming as well as yet another deal is in the works with who else but Joe Manchin. Well, we first had a possible deal with Joe Manchin I revealed over the weekend. Now we have two more deals erupting today. This is all breaking news, and you're hearing it for the first time on Mornings LATE. A clean energy and a carbon tax backup plan, which reveals now we're upwards of 3 backup plans. Let's go over all the incredible details starting right now. Initially, when we looked at the situation going into the weekend, this channel was the only broadcast channel with a big story. The story was covered in a print media and this channel and nowhere else across the United States. What was it? That the president had floated a great idea to Manchin, which was to take a provision existing in one of the clusters of past checks and change the eligibility language so that Joe Manchin's biggest industries in his state would qualify for the money in that cluster. Joe Manchin is the senator for West Virginia. West Virginia is a big state for things like fossil fuels. When we talk about climate, we're not talking about is the sun beautiful or is it raining? If you watch Afternoons LA today, it's just dark. And you're going to say, why is it so dark? Because it was raining this morning. That's not climate under recon. Climate concerns carbon, fuel, oxygen, hydrogen, fossil fuels, things like that. So the president floated a beautiful, brilliant idea. And that idea leaked on Friday, covered on this channel over the weekend, which is to change the language so that Joe Manchin's industries in his state qualify for the money. Let's go over the details right now. This is the first plan. The White House has now considered changing one of the clusters so that the eligibility would be different and to make it easier for the coal and natural gas power plants in Joe Manchin's state to receive billions of dollars of financial incentives from that cluster in the recon. A big, big payday for potential fossil fuel producers in Joe Manchin's home state of West Virginia. Wow. Now, this one just seems like the way to get it done. It just seems perfect. You just broaden the eligibility for something that's already in the recon. We're not moving anything around. We're not moving the money. We're just changing a few words so that the biggest industries in Joe Manchin's state qualify for the money. But we're not done there yet, because guess what? We got 2 other backup plans, and they're brand new today. Those backup plans are clean energy and carbon tax. Clean energy. In that third cluster, you heard about this. In that third cluster, there's a lot of checks passed for clean energy. One of the checks in there, Joe Manchin doesn't like. So the president the president today is floating to remove that check altogether. Big item. And this frees up a lot of cash and it could be reallocated to the purple power energy. Yes, this is great news. But then there's a third backup plan. And the third backup plan is carbon tax. The solution is considering doing a carbon tax in the recon, which would appease Manchin. Taxes is always a sticky issue with any legislator, but carbon tax is very popular among most corporations. And the great thing about carbon tax is it can be modified in a lot of different structures so that a lot of people can like it. Again, this would be tax on carbon producers and people like in the state of West Virginia. Wow, great news. I think it's going to get done. Now, let's go to what you need to know across the board on the big exciting details of the second parts of modifying the recon. When you look at the recon, there's 3 things they got to do. They got to solve the issue of climate with Joe Manchin. They have to solve the issue of prescription medication with Kristen Sinema, and they got to bring the price tag from 3.5 trillion into 2. So far in the last 7 days that I've been tracking, I don't see any problem with the Kristen Sinema part of the equation. It looks like they can modify the language with the prescription medication to get her on board. So that looks very good. Now, the 3.5 trillion to 2 trillion, this is great because this is easy breezy. And over the last 5 weeks, when I've delivered a lot of things where I said something like I'm speculating, we now know my speculation was actually exclusives. Back in July, I said there was a $7 trillion proposal for the recon before we actually had a recon. And I speculated the programs were running 20 years. We now have confirmation today that was right. Why were they to be 20 years? Because the president wanted the programs to run several generations. Bernie Sanders went into the pre-recon negotiation saying $7 trillion, 20-year programs. They said no. So he shortened the duration. And at the time, I didn't know what duration he shortened it down to, but he got to 3.5 trillion, and I speculated at 3.5 trillion, they're 10-year programs of cash for you. Now, today we have confirmation it is, in fact, 10-year programs at 3.5 trillion. 2 weeks ago, I said on this channel, this is easy. All you do is shorten the duration of the programs more to, let's say, 5 years. Keep the programs at 100%, big checks, quick checks. Just don't water them down and just do them now, but just do them for 5 years. And then suddenly we're at the low $2 trillion. Well, guess what? The great news is that now, 2 weeks after that comment, we have a Vulcan mind meld between Pelosi, LALATE, and Jayalapal all saying the same thing. Pelosi last Tuesday said one of the ways we can do this is just reducing the duration of how long the programs run. There you go. And then Jayalapal saying, I'm so happy the Speaker of the House, Pelosi, said that because that's the way we want to do it as well. Wow. Now, you and I know that the best way you solve the situation is the following. Big checks, quick checks, right out, right now, for this year, for next year, and maybe the year after that, at least. That's the big issue. That's how you solve the situation. You don't focus on small, measly checks that run 20, 30 years. You do big, quick checks right now. And guess what? That's what they want to do as well. Let's go to the incredible comments that come in from Jayalapal, Pelosi, Alex Padilla, and more. And stay with me to the final 15 minutes of this video. I have personal commentary about the situation as well. So Sanders said last week we need to hear from the opponents what they want changed. Great news is that finally we have lots and lots of details of where this language and the climate needs to be changed so that they can get the recon done. That is big, great details. Pelosi as well has become a great advocate for your recon. She said going into the weekend, the recon must get done because it will get done. Wow, that is wonderful. Pelosi then also said what I've been saying, which is central to the recon, this is Pelosi talking, is the climate part of the legislation. It is. Because we can get the 3.5 trillion to 2 trillion in a blink of an eye. We can do the prescription medication. That's easy. But the climate is where the battleground is. Alex Padilla, Democrat from California, said no climate, no deal, meaning you got to get the climate done. Bob Casey, the 61-year-old Pennsylvania Democrat, has said, people have asked me why we haven't done this more often. It looks really good. He says, that's my point. We haven't done this in 40 years. I love Bob Casey. And then Jayalapal with the winning quote. Of course, she's going to have the winning quote. She says, big checks now, quickly, don't focus on 10 years. Absolutely. We would rather reduce the number of years for the programs because the universality of the benefits and the immediacy of the benefits are what is critical. And frankly, that's more important than having the programs run the entire 10 years. There you go. So, all great news. With 3 backup plans in place, ability to reduce the recon from 3 to 2 trillion, and the prescription medication really not looking like a big battleground at all. It looks like it's going really well. But I'm going to have personal commentary in the final minutes of this video as well about the situation. Now, let's turn to the big surprise, which is that cola. Oh boy. Cola's going up, but it ain't going up one time. What? So your COLA checks, you got that letter about COLA. It says your benefits are going up 5 to 6%, but you are going up 2 more times in the next 12 months if this stimulus becomes law. Wow. Let's go over all the details. But first, let's take forced stimulus and put it aside because I know this could be confusing. I just covered checks for seniors. I covered the Bob Casey money for seniors. This is also seniors, but let me put forced stimulus aside. Let's just focus on COLA and this stimulus. COLA is the current law. Your benefits will be going up an average of 5 to 6%. This is huge news because when we were doing fifth stimulus talk in July, I said, I hope that your benefits go up 5% under fifth stimulus with inflation as the benchmark, not COLA. Well, you're getting it. But the great news is we're not done there yet. Fifth stimulus, let's say it goes to law in February. First they're going to do under fifth stimulus, raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits. That's a raise up on top of this one. Yes, your second raise. Then they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. And they're going to apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark will be inflation, which will replace COLA. Inflation will be some percentage, 2-3% next December, 2022. It's not going to be zero. COLA could be zero next year. You don't want COLA next year. And so that would be your third step up. So let's go over this. First, you're going to go up on a COLA the next few weeks. Then under fifth stimulus, if it becomes law, you'll go up one big time after that. And then your benefits will be raised after that when fifth stimulus becomes law, as they apply the new benchmark later next year. Incredible, great news. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the marriage penalty that says love is going to win and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear a loss of benefit. And there you go. That is fifth stimulus. Really great news, as now the opportunity for 3 raises for your benefits in less than 12 months. Boy, but can we top that? Yes, as we go into the exciting details of third stimulus, which is still paying viewers big sums of money. Last week, one viewer went into the weekend with $36,000 he didn't have the week before. And that could be you. So get that pen, paper, cell phone ready. We're going to go over all this incredible money. It's third stimulus. It's still paying money out right now. We get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, food, clothing, home repairs, appliances, and holiday gifts. Get that pen, paper ready because I got all these details for you right now. When we do the rent, we're going to reach out to 6 places. They have different eligibility. They have different pots of money. If one says no, reach out to the next. Second, get ready for those keywords I say in this video. And third, get ready for those nonprofits. Here's the rent. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, and your state housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. And there you go. Here's the numbers for rent that people are getting. And yes, everyone on this list should go get another round of rent because they are. People are able and qualified to go get extra rounds of rent. And that's what Mark did. He got another $36,000 on top of the $25,000 last week. Imagine the viewers and the numbers they're getting. These are all Purple Hawks. Then the utilities, boy, utilities are going up. And if you got 5 utilities, get all 5. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. SNAP, why would you not get SNAP? SNAP is money for food. You get it from the Department of Agriculture. And your SNAP benefits are going up this month, an average of 25% lifetime. Yes, nationwide, everywhere starting this month. Mark's brother-in-law getting $26,000. Get multiple sums of money, like combo people, Nancy and Lorraine, $110,000. Get multiple sums of money because those multiple sums are available for you there as well. All right, get that pen, paper ready. Now time for the nonprofits. After you've reached out to all 6 places, if you found the money, but you were not eligible, then reach out to the nonprofits. They have different eligibility than the federal government. Here are the 5 nonprofits which pay for the same items on the third stimulus generally, just with different eligibility. They are United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. The great thing about the nonprofits is they also pay for items that the federal government doesn't pay for. They pay for homeless people into shelters, clothing if you can't afford clothing. The common denominators, they want to make sure you stay warm and safe. So they'll often provide you furnaces, portable heaters, refrigerators, fans, and blankets. As to holiday gifts, Salvation Army was doing them since early October. Some of the locations have now ran out. They're now doing holiday meals. So get that right now as quickly as possible. Here again are the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Next, the refund check from the unemployment. Coming from your state, yes. Due to overpayment of unemployment benefits, and a computer error, yes. Average payment is about $3,000 to $5,000. Reach out to your state to get it. Then the refund check from IRS. Yes, that's the one where you paid on the 2020 unemployment benefits. Margaret got it, Cod got it. Average payment is about $1,200 to $2,000. If you got in any of these sums of money, post it in the live chat because when you do, you inspire other people. With that, if you haven't become a member, what are you doing? People in the live chat right now who have emoji behind their name, they are members. The membership link is under the video. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. It's important to understand that for stimulus, we'll pay viewers on average this channel about $15,000. When it becomes law, I'm going to show you how to get this money. Third stimulus, when it became law, some people were focused only on a stimulus check. I said, no, focus on the money of the programs. The programs, I can get you about $15,000. Viewers on average from this channel have gotten $40,000 from the programs and are still getting them as of last week. Become a member and get that newsletter daily, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, delivered from the LALATE alert system and the YouTube alert system. And it features that newsletter, all the big money, under first, second, and third stimulus available for you. It's important to get that big money because it's fortunes of money. The LALATE alert system is totally free. It's at news.lalate.com/alerts. It's also in the description. And now we have 2 new volunteers that can help you find the newsletter or the alert system if you cannot find either of them. And with that, let's go finally into a little bit of commentary as we go into a big week in which Congress is back in session. As I look at the recon, what is my opinion of the situation? I think my opinion of the situation is one of the most important people in the equation who I've never really covered on this channel is the former Senator John Kerry. Who is he? He's the energy czar or the climate czar. And what is my opinion of the situation? If you look at Jayalapal's comment, it sort of embodies where we are. We need big checks, real large checks right now to the American people. The second half of that sentence is the critical one, to the American people. No one disputes that climate is not a big issue. No one disputes that carbon emissions is not a big issue. But it's not an urgent issue. It's not an urgent issue that needs to be done between now and December. It's not urgent. It can be done in the next recon, well, it can be done in the sixth stimulus package in spring of 2022. Carbon emissions, fossil fuels, all these issues are not an urgent issue. And while I like all of them, I support all of them, do not kill the recon because you can't come to an agreement on climate. Certainly you can put 1 or 2 climate provisions in there, but if you go to the final mat and you see, I can't get all the climate provisions in there, take them out and put climate into its own recon next year. The most important thing is checks to you, the American people. You're the urgency. Social reform, social assistance, that is the immediate urgency. Big checks right now, right here. And while I don't disagree with the statements of the White House to do climate, I don't think the recon should go down in flames because of a provision about climate, where the climate is bad now and will be still bad in December or January of next year. Do the items that are most important to the recon right now and get it out the door. $2 trillion price tag, easy breezy. Can be done in a blink of an eye. Very, very easy. Number 2, all the moderate Democrats like the items that I cover in this channel for you. They like them. They just don't like the $3 trillion price tag. We got that solved. They don't like the prescription medication. That is an easy one to change, and it's actually a relatively controversial provision. It shouldn't stay the way it's written. And then the climate. And then we're done. Don't make it difficult, make it simple. And there we go. We got a lot of shows coming up today. I am back with you with Mornings Crypto at 10 a.m. That's going to have big details as crypto now has its first futures ETF trading, and it's Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's going to its highest levels in recorded history. I have the latest detail live on air at 10 a.m. Then I'm back with you at 11 a.m. with more details of these 1, 2, 3 backup plans to get the recon done. It's all brand news and it's all today. Meantime, I'm going to be following all the major developing details of the negotiations unfolding today as Congress is back in session and also still in town. Then we'll be back with the 1 o'clock afternoon show, the 3 o'clock afternoon totally new, and the 5 o'clock evening show tonight new as well. And I'm very excited for you because 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11:30, 1, 3, and 3:30 are all shows now with Force Stimulus. Learn everything you need to know about Force Stimulus because all those provisions covered even then are still in there. And with that, we got a big day ahead of us, and I want you to subscribe. 400,000 subscribers is a YouTube record. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and I'll be back with you in a minute as Mornings Crypto live on air heats up.